I'm ready, baby. Let's go.
one you love, you're making romance. All day long you've been wanting to dance. Feeling the musical head to toe. Everybody repeat after me. Hail, hail, rock and roll. Deliver me from the days of old. Long live rock and roll. The beat of the drum is loud and low. Rock and roll. The feeling is there, body and soul. For the second show now. So long. Down in Louisiana, we're back up in the woods of the evergreen. Got a long habit, made it hurt good. Well, it's the country boy named Johnny B. Good. Never ever learned to read and write well. Playing guitar is like ringing a bell. Oh, go. Oh, Johnny, go, go. Guitar in the gunny sack. Looking beneath the tree by the railroad track. Oh, then you knew he is sitting in my shade. Drumming with the rhythm that's driving me. People passing by, stop and say, oh my, but there's a little country boy. Go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go. Now go. I say go, Johnny, go. Go, go, go. Johnny be good. Thank you. We'll be back. 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 I can't get out of this thing.
was being played for. But somehow the kids, and particularly it seems the white kids, middle-class kids, caught on to this in a way that they had not caught on before to some of the music that had been going on really for quite a long time in a black world.
Yeah, well, actually, they began to hear it. You see, because certain stations played certain music, and directed and projected to that certain audience. And when the stations became, shall we say, unseparated or unbiased to their programming, well, then out went the music, you see.
Because back before those days came along, there were 2 or 3 big record labels, and they had the big stars. There was Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra and Perry Como and Doris Day and those people. They were all on big labels. But along around the time that you and the people that changed music so much came along, all of a sudden there was an explosion. All kinds of labels came along, and the whole business got turned on its ear.
Let me see, can I add to that by saying this? The music that we, the blacks, have played has, in a sense, was just like culture. The culture was so far apart once that you would have had to have a slave station in order to play it, Or then as the cultures begin to come together and you begin to see vice versa, one in another's vein of life and so forth, then the music came together. Because, where people go, they carry the cults. And let's say as the blacks begin to get in politics and in clubs and on Broadways, so in numbers, you see, well, then the music began to be there. And I think that's the way it actually mixed. and got over each line, you see.
Of course, music probably helped in the process, too.
Assuming there was a line. Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, because, you know, you can't beat education supports cults and peoples. It's the greatest education. Things you can make, but people, they're always different, and it's beautiful.
Because one of the things that's happened with your music is that a lot of other people have sung songs that you have written, and in fact, I guess an awful lot of people have gotten very, very rich off of your music, haven't they?
Well, it's not my music. Well, I may have instigated that type, but you know, people. I think it's very gratifying to have someone think enough of some provision of mine to you know, to copy it, and I glory them in their fun.
Of course, any songwriter likes to have somebody else do his song. You make money every time they sell a record of Surfing USA or something.
It's beautiful commercial. Yeah, but I mean, spiritually, I think it warms my heart to know another artist thinks enough of the tune, a tune, or lyrics to you know, copy it. And people ask, well, why they take your songs? What does that do to you? You know, it really warms my heart.
You have a line in one of your songs, "Roll Over Beethoven." I believe it's a song where you say, "Deliver me from the days of old." Well, now some of the rock music is old, or at least it's been around now. Chronologically, it's been around for a while. Music keeps changing.
Okay, "Deliver me from the days of old," if played now, would mean still the days of old. You know, I tried to direct my music to a portion of life that no cult was without, and that I think that may be why I still perform before any audience instead of one vain. You know, I performed in Overcross, you know, to some non-English speaking audiences, which were latched on to it. A lot of those people know the lines too.
Of course, sort of the idea of "Deliver Me from the Days of Old" sort of suggests that here we have a new thing, and it was a new thing for a lot of people who had never heard anything quite like it, or at least it wasn't in their world too much. It really sort of stood them on their ear. It was something that really seemed to be about them and sung to them, and your songs were about them. I'm talking about the kids in the late 50s and early 60s. They could really identify with your music.
But
it keeps changing, doesn't it?
Yeah. What I was actually directing at is classical, not classical, but opera music, and you know, where they sing every line, like "I love you because you're you," and then the other person says, "Yes, but do you really?" You know, this is irking to me. This is what I meant by days of old. You know, in opera, Shakespeare. Not that it's anything wrong. In its place, it's great. You know, but who dances off of Shakespeare? You know. And you think of movement, at least I think of movement when I play. So "Deliver me from those days." You know, that's what I was referring to. Real old days, ancient.
The music that you're doing now, is it the same? Or do you keep changing?
Well, I don't know that I changed. The music I'm playing has been played by a number of different artists. And I never recognize my style. Well, others say I have a style, but I'm playing a lot of people's music, or a lot of persons' music that I've heard, you know, because like Charlie Christian, we have T-Bone Walker. Sometimes my lyrics try to follow Nat and Sinatra, and Louis Jordan in the novelty vein, and because all these people inspired me to Muddy Waters especially. Although I can't really put over blues because I've been happy too long. You know, I don't think I've ever been really blue, like, you know, Railroad, you know, and you just can't put over what you, at least I don't want to put over what I really don't feel. You know? And so I always tend to feel more or less either novel or jolly or just about life, like Too Much Monkey Business and Roll Over Beethoven, you know, which way are you going? This is life.
Chris, you say you were influenced by a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. A lot of other people have been influenced by you. And I wonder how this hits your ear. For example, do you like to listen to Beatles music or Stones music?
Yes. I just latched onto music, a tune this morning that I guess is 3 years old now. I'll refer to it when I can. Just this morning, I'll quote the lyrics to you in a minute. I'm trying to get it into my head. when the sun comes through my window and crosses my room, I'll get it together. I can't think of it just now, but it's a beautiful line, and I just got it this morning. Okay, it's going to inspire other music to come along. Yes, maybe a minute ago, a lot of people have been inspired by my music, and I was inspired by many others. Well, really, I think this is the real things that just keep revolving. It's life itself. It's what everybody feels, and everybody drives cars. Everybody has to handle money. Everybody has a love affair, inspirations, you know, and these are the things I write about. You know, everybody might not. I wrote a song about Jojo Gunn. Well, it's about animals. Well, everybody likes to laugh once in a while. So it really revolves, I think.
Because you had very, very many hits, and some of them were directed. They seem to be directed toward the record buying public. They were essentially the kids, and I guess kids still are the record buying public. Mm-hmm. But for example, in School Days, you're talking about the life of a high school student. Somebody gets up in the morning and goes into school, and the bell rings. And
how many hasn't happened to you, me, and I imagine everyone? You know, everyone goes to school. You know, this happens. So,
but then on the other hand, something happens. Time goes by, and you're not in school anymore. Mm-hmm. What I'm really getting at is, do you think that having gotten older and their lives having changed, that what used to, well, of course, all of our but everybody's life has changed to some extent as time goes by. Do you think that they will stay with you? In other words, are they still Chuck Berry fans?
Well, see, these feelings never change. A memory never changes. The ones that were inspired and thrilled by that then will always have that memory, and that is good. The ones that are hearing it now in this new day, that song has no date in it, and they will be inspired. I hope it's like it's. Sorry.
This is an interview with Chuck Berry, Roll 2. In the performances that you're giving now, do you sing the old ones, the songs that you made famous back in 1955 and right on through up to about 1965?
Mostly that's all I have is the old ones, you know. I have a few new songs, new material, the mild nibblers, you know, no real crashes, you know. Sometimes heard and sometimes not, but the old ones seem to be requested, so I lay it on them, you know.
Is there any one that you like that you always perform?
Yeah, but I never know which one it is until the audience, when they cheer, that's the one that I liked. Really, I mean, all of my feed comes from the audience, really, because I don't know, it's some sort of psychological inheritance I have, but I look at the audience, and from them I get a message, and I go in that direction. Sometimes it comes when they're like this, I go into a fast number, and then if it gets too exciting out there, you know, I'll go into a blues. You know, I just follow that pattern. That's usually I work impromptu, spontaneously. I never make out a program. And sometimes the band says, okay, what are we playing? And it's minutes before we start. We've all tuned up, and I say, I have no idea, you know. And then we'll go into, I'll just say G, you know, and I have the first 4 bars, and we'll go into it. Of course, all of my music I try to keep simple because I don't carry a band anymore, and they can pick up on it very easy, you know.
So 3 or 4 chords. And
because the pattern is sort of repetitious.
You still do the duck walk?
Oh, yeah, I can't get off without it, yeah. As a matter of fact, that's the way I go off.
How did you start doing that? How did you start doing that? All right, now I'm going to go back and start up that sequence again because I want to use the sequence. Okay. You still do the duck walk?
Yeah, I can't get off without doing it. Matter of fact, that's my way getting off.
How did you happen to start doing that?
That was, I first started in the Paramount Theater, and I slipped. I never forget, I slipped and fell, but I rolled over and put it in the act and got back up. And ever since then, I got such a big ovation that I kept doing it, you know, because that's part of the act, you know. So they, when I don't do it, or if I'm late in doing it, I'll see somebody out there and they'll give me this, you know. That means get on with it, you know. So I put it in most every act. Sometimes when I have a quiet audience in a university, lay some poetry on, and, you know, it's according to the crowd. If they want to see and be entertained, it's definitely in there. If they want to sit and listen and hear and learn, you know, well, then that's more or less a concert. I mean, I do too much dancing, you see.
Do you still write a lot of songs?
Let's see, there's 168 songs now recorded, and 17 of them are copied. Did one of Little Richards, one, about 6 of Muddy Waters, and so forth, you know. What about, I have 144 songs, improvisations, originals.
But do you spend time now actively writing?
Yes, because I'd like to maintain that same percentage. You see, you know. I like to minimize the copies if possible. You know.
Do you, when you write a song, think about what the market is, trying to make a hit?
Yes, that comes in it. Yeah, I have to think commercially, because if not, it's not fair to the record company. It's not fair to my livelihood. And so I think commercially. I think about what the public would want, you know. Yet and still, if it's not within the feeling that I have to deliver, it'll never be heard.
When you first went to Leonard Chess, you went with a couple of records that you had made, a couple of tape recordings, I guess.
Tape, yeah. And I carried, he told me to bring 4 numbers. As a matter of fact, I brought 6. Maybelline was one, and Wee Wee Hours was another. And I think Too Much Monkey Business, which came out later. But he took those 2 off there, and then we did 2 more that were made up in the studio just then, because I was so excited. I had nothing to do then but write. You know, as you grow older, you get into different veins, and your enterprise becomes greater. And now I have, you know, half of my time is spent in my country club. And, you know, you don't have as much time to write, but then I get it in.
But you didn't think at that time that Maybelline was the best of that lot, did you?
I was making $94 a week at assembly plant. I had no idea. When I met my first job, I came to New York here and was with an agency, and they said, well, this song will probably last you 2 years. You could run 2 years and working 40 months out of the year at $50 a night. And the Lord had answered my blessings, you know, because from $74 a week, $94 a week to $50 a night is a pretty good jump.
Where'd you get the name Maybelline?
There was a cow in a poem in the 3rd grade named Maybelline. I was trying to think of a novel name. That's all, Maybelline, the cow. You know, that was at our school. We had a cow named Maybelline. Gingerbread boy, you know, and all that stuff. You had gingerbread boy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, you know.
Who comes to hear you when you play? Because you say you play for different kinds of audiences, but you find that...
Okay, I think I know. I have first. I think that my greatest audience is heads, and or young people who are in and about life, and then the real ardent music lovers of the 50s. I still see them out there, you know, because they sort of sit like this, you know, and they don't move too much, you know, but I can see their shoulders shaking, so I know that their foot's padding, you know, so they're getting with it, you know. So I think those who are around, they should be around 35 now. Sweet 16 is 32, so I mean, they should be around 35. So those are about the capacity of my audiences.
How about this business of revivals of rock and roll and all that? Is there a cycle to these things? Do you expect it to revive in that form?
I speak only in the scientific term. Everything evolves, styles and so forth. So therefore, I think music revolves also, the styles of music, because I never stopped playing since I started, and the revival, I see more people in the vein of rock playing now, but I have had the pleasure of entertaining right straight through.
How often do you perform now?
About 3 to 4 days a week, unless it's a set-in. I'm making my first 2-week engagement in Vegas, my debut there, matter of fact, also, and bucking against Johnny Cash, and so that'll be my longest job. and ever. I don't think I've ever worked 2 weeks, but it's about 2 to 3 days a week. Any more than that, I'm supporting others.
So you spend most of your time in Wentzville, do you? Or?
Yes, the other day, and of course, my park takes up, it's a business. I'm in a little real estate, so it pretty well captivates the other.
Yeah, somebody told me you were sort of like the Howard Hughes of Wentzville. Own about half the town?
No way. No, I get about. I get around. As a matter of fact, I go through clubs in St. Louis and sit in and wail. Who is it really? Yeah, well, I'm alive. I'm real. I'm human. Walk in a club, and it's a good band. I want to blow, So I blow. Sometimes my mind.
You still have fun doing it?
Yeah, I really do enjoy performing. There's hassles and everything, but I think the transportation thing is only like today. I didn't think I'd get here today. When I left St. Louis at 11 o'clock, was supposed to leave. No way. You were having a snowstorm. 3 flights were canceled. So I took my chances, and I'm here. So, there are hassles and everything, so I put up with them.
You plan to retire from music someday and devote full time to the country club?
There's no such thing. I don't see how a man alive could retire. You do something, So why don't you do your best, or what you know best, So, I play as much. It may go down to 1 day a week or 1 day a month, but I don't guess I'll ever stop playing, because I like, and even, Sarah could go down to $25 a night and then blow once a year,
But it's been a long time since you played for anything close to that, isn't it?
Yeah, I left St. Louis making $24 a night before Maybelline, so you really think commercial, and I do too.
Well, I guess that's one way you tell, isn't it? You can tell when it's time to retire.
After all, it takes money to live, and one could not, I heard some artists say that you can't play for, how can you play for nothing, because you have to transport yourself, you have to buy new instruments, and so forth, So it has to be some revenue from it. Doesn't have to be as much, but, and I can say that now because my life is really, I can live off, I'm very happy, blessed, satisfied. Matter of fact, I'm working now for those around me, You spread out, give to your kinfolks, and then your friends, and it keeps going out,
You still like cars? Remember, you were sort of into cars.
Yeah, I'm down to now where if they run, I like them. If they don't run, it can be a Mercedes-Benz, and no way, I'll take a bus. Anything that's running. But most of my jobs are flying. I only drive to the airport. Jeez. Time is an element too. I play Chico, California for next Friday, and I play Wesley, Massachusetts, Saturday night.
And they can edit any way they want. But the MOS business is a little bit like the Ken Monday thing. There's a German sound man that they had working for CBS back when they first started in with television, and they had to take a shot like this, and every time he would shoot one of these shots, he'd say, "I want a mid-out sound." That mid-out sound became MOS, and they always say, "Okay, we're now going to shoot MOS," because that's the way they do it. And they always seem to want more of it than. I find that one of the hardest things to do is to talk on cue. Unless, like the thing you were saying. When somebody says, "Okay, Mr. Berry, now talk." If there's no real interchange, it means that you can't. You haven't got anything to bounce off of. You haven't got anything to. So the thing is, they must have about enough of this now. I hope.
On the editing part, you wouldn't even say the things that you're saying.
That's right. Oh, that's right. No.
Tricky, fake.
I think you probably have a good stretch of MOS there now. See, they're not even listening to me at all. What they're doing is just watching. What they're taking pictures of you listening to me is what they're doing. So that that's the thing. So I have to move my lips, even if I'm not really saying anything. You have to sort of.
And I shouldn't move my.
That's right. Yeah, that's the idea. Because then they follow that. So they do that, and then they can cut to an answer. That's a question. They can go from one of my questions to another one, and skip a part in the middle. Otherwise, you get what they call a jump.